Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to review a very underappreciated fragrance from the house of Xerjoff, and it's part of their Shooting Stars collection, and it's Lua. This is a beautiful, gourmand, fruity floral fragrance that focuses on a very underappreciated note in perfumery, which is melon. And if you guys know me, you know I love melon in perfume. So today we're going to talk about this fruity floral fragrance from this luxury house. So let's get into the video. Now for transparency purposes, this was a purchase. This wasn't given to me for free. I bought this. This was on my must buy list actually. This is one of the fragrances that I've been meaning to buy for a long time. I've actually bought a few bottles of Xerjoff this month, as you will see when I do my haul video. I'm trying to round out my Xerjoff purchases in the next month or two, so that way I can focus on other houses. So you're gonna see a lot of Xerjoff in my haul videos the next month or two. Lua is a gorgeous fragrance. It is mature, it's sophisticated, it's airy, it's fruity, it has a chicness to it. There's something about it that I find to be very beautiful. But the thing with the house of Xerjoff, in my opinion, some people like the house, some people think it's overhyped. I personally love the house of Xerjoff, but there are so many heavy hitters from that house that there are a lot of fragrances that fly under the radar that I think deserve a lot of attention, and this is definitely one of them. So the notes in this fragrance, there's not as many that are prominent. There's a lot of notes in the scent, but the most prominent ones at the top, you have melon, you also have some bergamot and orange. At the heart, you have iris, lily of the valley, rose, and pink pepper, and at the base, you have musk, cedarwood, patchouli, and vanilla. Now the musk in this is more of a clean, refreshing, kind of aquatic, airy musk. It's not animalic, deep, or too sharp. And the lily in here is bright and green. It's not too spicy, it's not too gingery, it's not too meaty, and it's not too animalic. This is actually a very bright, soft fragrance. The patchouli, I think, is the note in this with the cedarwood that gives it some kind of aromatic depth and woodiness, and something about it that gives it an earthy greenness to this fragrance. It doesn't just make it smell like fruits and florals. It gives it a nice complexity to this really beautiful scent. But first and foremost, what you're really going to be getting is floral, specifically a lily, and also some beautiful melon. This is a powdery fragrance, and I love what Xerjoff does with powders, but this isn't going to be an overpowering powdery scent like iris or ibitira or any of the other fragrances that Xerjoff has, where it's basically powder, powder, powder. The powder in this is soft and sensual and sweet, and not dry and too bitter or too reminiscent of something stale. And I do love it when those fragrances have those kind of stale, off, lipsticky smells. I think that they smell really good, but they can be a little bit challenging for some people. This doesn't have that. It's a softer, sweeter powder. This is going to open up with the smells of everything and not the textures. And when I talk about smell versus texture, I always like to use lemon. So in my opinion, when I say something has a texture, say a lemon in a fragrance would almost be more aldehydic. It would be bright and sparkling and dazzling. But if it smelled like lemon, it would smell like lemon. So to use taste, for example, if you had a flavor of a lemon, it would be like a lemon cookie, a lemon cake, a lemon piccata, like a lemon sauce. And a taste of a lemon is if you were to bite into a lemon and you make that funny face. It would be acidic, it would be sour, sometimes bitter. It would kind of be a little bit more than just the lemon taste. So when a fragrance or a note has a texture, it's going to add a clarity, a brightness, a syrupy heaviness. Sometimes it can be suffocating, sometimes it can be creamy, sometimes it can be billowy and light. Sometimes powdery fragrances can smell stale and bitter and kind of chalky. And in this fragrance, none of the fragrances have any of the texture. It's more of the flavor. So the pink pepper doesn't have any sharp, spicy pepperiness to it. Again, you're getting a nice, bright kind of fruity pepperiness to this. And sometimes with pink pepper, it can kind of sting your nose and open your olfactory palates, and those smell really nice. But I feel if the pink pepper was more predominant in this fragrance, a little bit more sharp, a little bit more spicy, it might bring out some of that gingery spiciness that lily can have, and it would throw off the balance of this, which is a very sophisticated, soft kind of marshmallowy scent. I like that the bergamot and the orange are more juicy and a little bit more concentrated, but they do add a little tiny bit of sparkly brightness in the opening, but not too much. I like that what you're really getting more is the juicy melon in the opening with a little bit of the pepper that kind of mimics a bright sharpness, but it's not a sharp scent like an Ambrosia or something that has a little too much something in there. Once you have the opening notes kind of settle, specifically the bergamot kind of settles in the background, you get a little bit more orange, the melon stays nice and juicy, you get the pink pepper that kind of softens a little bit. You're gonna get this really beautiful predominant lily, and it's gonna become powdery and soft and marshmallowy on your skin. This is where it's gonna get a little bit more soft and chic and kind of like cozy, but there's something about it too that's just very beautiful and very elegant. There's a maturity to this fragrance that doesn't smell like it's too dated, and I like also how it smells semi-modern. I like when fragrances smell timeless but not dated. Now, as this fragrance warms up on your skin, I'd say after about 45 minutes, you're gonna get way more of the cedarwood, get a little tiny bit of vanilla, it gets a little bit creamy, but for the most part, you're really going to get this kind of bright, clean musk that's going to work really nicely with the lily, which is going to make this a little bit more airy, effervescent, and billowy, but it's still going to be a soft, sensual, powdery floral fragrance that has some beautiful, juicy melon in there, and that's what you're going to get for the entire lifespan of the scent, from beginning to end. It's not so much of a linear fragrance because it does take you on a little bit of a journey from the first hour or two, but for the most part, it's not a crazy, wild ride. This is a very sophisticated, elegant scent. There's something about it that's very chic, but at the same time, I do enjoy that it's really focusing on this juicy melon as the fruity component that's added with a little bit of orange and bergamot to kind of give it a kickstart. And then there's this really gorgeous lily and iris that kind of takes it on the rest of its journey. And as it settles on your skin, if you want a little bit more of a complexity, if you want a little bit more of an earthiness, if you want a little bit more of a greenness, a little bit more of an aromatic woodiness to this fragrance, if people like that to balance their fragrances so it's not just florals and fruits, it has layers and complexity and depth, and those fragrances smell like really good on the skin. I like that it's added with a really beautiful patchouli and cedarwood. It does work really, really well. So overall, this is such a beautiful scent, and again, I love that it is focusing on melon because I feel like melon is not played well enough, especially in more, I would say, expensive luxury fragrances. And when it is done correctly, it is done exceptionally well. A great example is Le Parfum de Thérèse from Frederic Malle. You guys know how I feel about that 1010 perfume masterpiece of a fragrance. This isn't the same fragrance, but if you do enjoy that scent, this is a must try, because to me, this is more of a ready to wear casual, I would say melon scent, but there's something about it that's just very effortless, very beautiful, and very timeless. However, what I like about this fragrance is the fact that it doesn't have a deep earthy sharpness to it. The fact that it's not really focusing too much on resins, and it's not focusing too much on crazy aromatics to add a nice layer of complexity. We're working on like just cedarwood and patchouli. And those two notes are really coming together to give a nice foundation to let everything else play nicely, play beautiful, kind of smell really good on the skin. There's not too much that kind of kerfluffles this fragrance. And I do love overtly complex fragrances, do not get me wrong. And I do love fragrances that smell old world and vintage and gorgeous. But sometimes if you edit and curate your compositions and your formulas, sometimes that little modern edge can make something also smell really beautiful. And I like with this fragrance, it's the less is more mentality. This is not a minimalistic fragrance, but this could definitely have been easily overladen with too many notes. There could have been carrot, and I love iris and carrot, but that would have put too much focus on the iris, when in my opinion, it's really about the lily, the melon and the musk, and everything else is working together to make those notes really come together in a very elegant and beautiful way. This isn't the most groundbreaking composition by all means. You smell this scent so many different places, but the addition of melon, I think, sets this apart as something very special. And within the house of Xerjoff, I find this to be a very, very underappreciated fragrance. So that is my review of this gorgeous scent. I'd love to know what you guys think. Have you had the opportunity to try this fragrance? I'd love to know your thoughts, positive or negative, and let me know in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.